This all started June 22nd, 1918, when we had the circus was going from Michigan City, the Hagenbeck Wallace circus, to do a show in Hammond, Indiana. I'll give you the Reader's Digest of the story. There was a malfunction with one of the axles on the circus train, and they stopped for repairs, and when they did, this was World War I, so there was a empty troop train coming through. The engineer fell asleep and plowed into the backup. One of the worst train wrecks in history. About 86 people died and many others injured. I did this documentary which came out in 2019. I called it The Day the Circus Didn't Come to Town. And when I do a project, I like to give back to it in some form or fashion. So I had this idea of getting one of the Indiana historical markers. I approached Gary's Historical Preservation Committee, and they helped me work with the city and get this project done. And the next step was, okay, we got the marker, now where the heck are we going to put it? You don't want to put it in between the tracks where the wreck happened. You don't want people stopping there. And if you put it on the side street, who's going to want to go down the side street to see the marker? Well, there was this beautiful little nature preserve right here. So I approached the Shirley Hines Land Trust, and they graciously worked with us to get this done. I just wanted to thank several of the people that helped get this done. Jerome Prince, the mayor of Gary. Actually, when we started this, Karen Freeman Wilson was Gary's mayor. Casey Pfeiffer from the Historical Marker Program. Mr. Christopher Krause, the Executive Director of the Shirley Hines Land Trust. Gary's Historical Preservation Committee. Back when we first started this program, Naomi Bellender was the president, and Tricia Brown worked with us also on this.
Can you speak louder?
The first commissioner I worked with was Teresa Guzman, and more recently Ms. Junifer Hall, and also Rick Haney from the Showman's League of America. Now, what was unique about this project, you know, I didn't want a penny of it to come out of Gary's pocket. So I was a little naive when I first started, and I tried to work with area businesses, and not a penny of this came from any of the area businesses. This was all crowdfunded. I donated to it Mr. Ronald Trigg, Barbara Spear, Raylene Swinock, Dr. Chuck Kennedy, Kathy Pera, Michelle Reynolds, and Dean Thompson. Now, having said that, before we go down this trail here and unveil the marker, and when you go down the trail, be careful, even though it's been mowed down. And I tried my best to, I came out here this morning and lopped down some of the vines that were in the path, but just be careful and watch your footing. I'd now like to bring Mr. Krause up to say a few words about the Shirley Hines Land Trust.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I would just like to welcome all of you here to Ivanhoe South, tell you briefly about Shirley Hines, the Nature Preserve, and some really exciting activities we're going to be having here today. So, Shirley Hines, we got our start in 1981. We have a mission of preserving and restoring natural lands and waters in northwestern Indiana. So in addition to Ivanhoe South, we have in this dune and swale complex, we have 22 project areas throughout 6-county geography. We've permanently preserved 2,800 acres of prairies, wetlands, and forests throughout our region. And this place where you're standing is especially important to the history of the organization, and really ecologically speaking, it's globally significant. So back in the 80s, shortly after we got started in 1981, we had some wonderful people like Myrna Nugent, who's a life board member of Shirley Hines. They would go to these tax sales and they would start picking up these little parcels of land that were never developed, but they were platted and subdivided. So if you can just imagine what you're looking at out here is about a 50-acre platted subdivision. And over 35 plus years, we started picking up these lots. It was like putting back together a jigsaw puzzle. And a couple years ago, we were able to consolidate and make this one 50-acre parcel in total. And it has trails. It's underwent a significant amount of restoration. If you had been out here 10 years ago, this would be heavily forested. There really wouldn't have been, we like to think of what percentage of canopy cover you have in a forest. It probably would have been, 75 to 100% canopy cover in most places. Because it's oak savanna and because of the unique ecology here, you really need to get sunlight into the forest floor, and that's what allows a lot of native plants in this part of our region to thrive, and hence the kind of oak savanna habitat. So we did a lot of tree thinning, and the preserve has responded really, really well. So if you get a chance to walk the preserve today, you're going to see one of the most unique habitats we have in this region. So as it relates to Shirley Hines, most of our career we have been doing land acquisition and restoration. We've had some environmental education programming, but more recently we've really wanted to engage communities, particularly the city of Gary and the residents in this area in our work. So we started partnering with people like Kimmy Gordon, who's here. She's with Brown Faces, Green Spaces, and doing events to really make places like Ivanhoe South all of yours. Making it a place that is accessible, you feel comfortable recreating in. And so this historical marker being installed is really important for the preserve and our organization, and of course the community, because it's allowing people to connect to nature in a little different way by bringing cultural relevance to it. And further, with Brown Faces and Green Spaces in this Nature and the Arts event that's being spearheaded by Janice Brown, who's on our board, we have a lot of exciting activities today where you can do a walk in photography, and there's a variety of other art programs. So after we do the unveiling, if you would like to take this trail back, you can do a Nature and the Arts event with Shirley Hines and many of our partners, and just enjoy the natural resource we have out here. So I won't keep going on and on, but I think before we go back and dedicate this sign, we're all here today because this gentleman right here put in a tremendous amount of time and energy. And it was really nice talking to some of you early on, and it was just obvious that Charles has, I don't know, this is a little bit of your life's work making this happen. So a lot of conversations, he put a lot of sweat equity into it. So the Gary Historical Committee and your work, Charles, is really appreciated. We're happy to partner. One of the things Charles wanted me to mention is why is the sign where it is. And so if you look around, you have a utility corridor right here. You have railroad tracks, and so we're about 10 feet off of the utility corridor, and we wanted to also set it up in a way where people would be able to safely walk to it. We're also really excited that over the course of the next couple of years, we will be putting in a new parking area, making trail improvements, including sidewalk connection up to West Side Leadership Academy, so students can actually walk from the high school to Ivanhoe South. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Charles, and yeah, thank you all for being here.
That's about it. We will go down the trail for the unveiling.
Yay!
All right. Beautiful. There's riding on both sides, so feel free to walk around.